everybody, Jay Schlansky here with the 5th Trooper Network. It is my pleasure today to do the Clone Wars unboxing. That's right, we got a box in the mail, and here we go. Special shout out to Critical X for helping us get this box. First up is the Learn to Play, pretty common here, standard with both core sets. Next is all the tokens that you'll need for the units that come in the box. You know, you've got your standard tokens in here. A couple extra things is the 3 suppression token, and also shields, and some of the special tokens, the crit tokens that come just with these units for right now. And next we're going to look at is the new models. First is the Bark Speeder, that's right in the bag. All the clones are. And then all the droids are actually on the new sprues with the hard plastic. And so I'm just going to walk through this. This looks to be maybe some extra pieces for the droidicas. And next up looks to be Grievous, which if you stick around later in the video, I'm going to go ahead and put him together. Then some more for the droidicas. And the second rack of droidica parts. Then we're moving into the actual droids, the B1 droids. So we got those going. And of course there's a million of those, right? So there's a lot of different racks for the droids. Just kind of looking at them, looking at how they're connected here. And a little bit later on we're going to talk and go through you know, the rack system and how to remove your models from them. I know that this may be new for some of you out there, and as you can see, there's a number of racks for the droids. So next we're actually going to look at the clones, and this is similar to the soft plastic style that Legion has been this entire time. Similar, you know, you're going to get, looks like 1 or 2 figures per bag. Very easy to put together. They're already ready to go with the little notches that match up. Similar to everything else that we've seen so far from Fantasy Flight. You know, really the new thing, like I said, is the racks that the droids are on. And yeah, so there's some more stormtroopers and clone troopers actually. More clone troopers. And, you know, like I said, some of these are singly bagged, some of them are double bagged. That is one of the weapons, I believe, for the Bark Speeder, for the sidecar. Yeah, pretty standard here with the clones. There's General Kenobi. We're going to put him together as well a little bit later. So pretty standard as far as the models go for the clones. You get your measurement tools, your range rulers. And also your movement tools here. Same thing, again, as the original clone core set, excuse me. Also your bases, these are for the droidicas and the Bark Speeder. There's your barricades, standard setup here. Another set of barricades, which is always good because I've painted most of mine at this point. There's your bases for all your models. You know, I know they put them in color, so in case you don't paint them, but I end up just painting over them anyways. New set of dice. Maybe these ones will roll a little bit better for me than my other dice that I have. And now the cards. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to walk through all the cards. We'll start with the upgrades. You know, there's some standard ones in here. So for instance, Commanding Presence, pretty standard, Aggressive Tactics. While you're the commander, after issuing orders, choose up to 4 friendly units with face-up order tokens. They each gain a surge for 10. You've got Hunter, you've got Tenacity, we've got Environmental Gear, Recon Intel, HQ Uplink, Long Range Comlinks, Giant Mind Trick. So these are the Force stuff. Force Reflexes, Force Push. The new one, Force Guidance. Choose up to 2 friendly units at range 1 to 2. Each unit gains a Surge token. Battle Meditation, Hope. You gain Inspire 1. So that's pretty cool. You got the Fragment grades. Your 5th Trooper for Clone Troopers, Phase 1 Clone Trooper. Your 5th Trooper for your 6th for your Battle Droids. You got your Phase 1, the Z6. You got your Phase 1 DC-15. Very similar to DLT. You got your B1 Trooper, the E5C, the E6OR B1 Trooper, Grievous's Annihilator gun, and then the Bark Pilot Gunner upgrades. So next, we're going to look at the full-size cards here. So they come with new Ambush, Push, and Assault, and Standing Orders. These are all, the same as they have been, just with new art, which is amazing. We've got Obi-Wan's command cards. Hello there, Knowledge and Defense, General Kenobi. Then we got Trained in Your Jedi Arts, Supreme Commander, Crush Them. Then Battlefield and Condition and Objective cards updated. Looks like they updated key positions to the errated version. And you got your standard battlefields in here. So these don't include the upgrade kit ones. These are just the standard. Then your conditions, rapid and reinforcements. That's the updated errata one. Now we have the unit cards. Obi-Wan, Phase 1 Clone Trooper, Phase 1 Clone Trooper, Bark Speeder, General Grievous, the B1 Battle Droid, B1 Battle Droids, and Droidicas at the end here. And those have all been spoiled, so you can go ahead and see those online. So next we're going to jump over to the Learn to Play manual here and just kind of walk through it and take a look at what's now included in there. It's pretty standard to what we've seen before from the original core set, and yeah. Okay, so here's the Learn to Play. So we start. I actually skipped a page here, but basically here's how to put all your miniatures together, step by step. The different kind of General Grievous options, the bark there to the left. How to put your movement tools together. Here's the breakdown of all the battlefield setup. The quick Learn to Play for those of you that are new. Here's all the key concept stuff that is pretty standard. They do have some of the new stuff in here. Activation phase, movements, attack action, aim, dodge, weapons. The standard, what we can do here. Barricades, leaders and cover. Attack pools, ground vehicles, attacking multiple units. Here's the clones and droids breakdown for army building. Upgrades, unique cards, tokens, battle decks, deployment objectives and conditions, terrain and height we'll cover there, standard battle setup for those of you that are new, and actually they got a nice little hobby section in the back here for assembling miniatures and painting, prepping, and kind of your detail layers of putting your droids together, and then of course the credits section, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and so that's the Learn to Play. We're actually going to be putting a Learn to Play video out sometime in the next month or so that you guys can all check out. So we're going to move on to putting together General Grievous. This is going to be new for some of you. So I have some tools out here. These, I believe, are required for putting these together. You got snips, you've got an X-Acto knife, you have tweezers, and some sandpaper sticks as well that kind of help with the assembly. So I'm going to get a little closer look here. So here's General Grievous, his sprue rack. So what I'm going to do is, first I think it'll be good to start with his cape. And this I can just show you real quick, what you're going to need to do if you're new to the hobby. So I'm taking the clippers here and I'm just quickly pulling that out, and now what I'm going to do is get the X-Acto knife. There's a little bit of residue left over from the sprues, so I'm just going to clean that up with the X-Acto knife, just get any little extra pieces off of there, just make sure that it's smooth surface and the sprue is completely off. So what I'm going to do after this, once I've cleaned up these little pieces here, I'm going to go ahead and take my sanding stick. This is a coarse grain, and I'm just going to rub over here, and what I'm trying to do is just clean up any of the residue that's left over from the sprues. I'm going to go ahead and hit all three sides that the sprues were attached here. And like I said, this is the coarse, so this gonna really pull off any of that kind of heavy debris that's left over from the sprue rack, and just kind of clean it up, smooth it out a little bit. I'm testing with my fingers there to make sure it's smooth. Now I'm coming in with a fine sand stick and just gonna clean that up and smooth that out so there aren't any like scrape lines or big chunks there. All right, so that's kind of what you're going to do with each piece. So we're going to speed it up here. I would caution, though, as you're pulling these out and snipping these out from the sprue rack, is just take a real quick look before you start snipping to see if that's actually part of the model or not, or if that's, if that's actually the sprue. So a couple of these, especially on Grievous, were a little confusing. And so I just had to, I myself had to take a double look and see. And as you can see, I'm just kind of pulling out the pieces that I want to put together for Grievous. First, I wasn't sure if I was going to go 4 arms or 2 separated arms on one side and 1 double arm on the other side. And I finally decided to just go with 4 double arms. So what you can see there too is I just pulled out super glue and accelerant. And so I'm going to put those together. Using the accelerant, that just kind of speeds up the process a little bit, though if you do it wrong, that can be a problem. So right now, I just attached Grievous' head with his back fins there. Now I'm putting together his body. As you can see, the 4 separate arms, what they do is they have a double ball joint. So there's one on the body and then one on the lower arm. And that's kind of how, those go together and then go onto the body. So the accelerant you can pick up at any hobby store. You can order it right off of Amazon. And what you do is you spray the one side. Usually what I do is I spray the ball joint, and then I put the glue in the recess, and then you put them together, and it kind of takes a few seconds. So here I am using the glue to put on Grievous. He's got some armor, shoulder armor. And so I'm looking at putting that on and getting the arms just right, cleaning out some of the area here and making sure that I like what it's going to do once the cape and everything gets on as well. And, the nice thing about these new units is the ability to really form them in any way you want, and you can have any sort of, any sort of pose, really, when you're putting these guys together. Yep, so now I'm just working on the legs, trying to figure out exactly how I want those to go on. If I'm just trying to pose those and make sure I got them in the right position. Cleaning up around the leg a little bit so that it looks right. Testing it on the base to make sure that's right. Getting the other leg on. Now I'm putting on his cape. And, this is one of those places we actually talked in a recent episode about maybe getting some green stuff to fill in some gaps. So you might see a little gap between the cowl and the cape on Grievous, and you can just you could close that gap with a little bit of green stuff. So there he is on the base, about to put on his head, and there's the total Grievous. I'll actually put the picture up at the end for the kind of the pose that I put him in, but there he is. And then next what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put together General Kenobi and just kind of give you guys, an example of, the difference in time and effort, I suppose, that this is going to take. So General Kenobi's up next. Also, if you've taken a look at that background, that is one of our new mats that the 5th Trooper will be putting out shortly. So we had we've been talking about for a little while, new set of mats, and this is actually the Theed themed one. And so now I'm going to get to General Kenobi. Very easy on this. Usually for these models, the soft plastic models, I don't even use the accelerant. until I get to the base, because with the kind of insert shapes that they have, they usually stick together even without glue, and so it's pretty straightforward to just kind of go through here, put a little dab of glue, super glue on there, and then put it into its assigned hole. But yep, so Grievous was a lot of fun to put together, and the ability to pose them with the new hard plastics is really amazing, and very much enjoyed doing that. So here I'm putting on General Kenobi's arm, and this was, I'm really impressed with the new modeling and everything that Fantasy Flight has been doing recently. It's just been incredible work and just amazing to see how this is all coming together, and it'll be really fun to see all the different Grievous models that people put together and the variations. And, there's an arm with a gun, there's, the arms together with one lightsaber, all four arms separated like I have. Like, I really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to painting all the lightsabers. And, yeah, so just getting Kenobi here together, and you just saw me spray the accelerant on the base, just making sure he looks good before I put him on the base. A little glue on his feet there before I put him on the base. And there we go. Putting General Kenobi on his base, and now the two commanders are done. So thank you so much for watching this. I'll put up the finished pictures at the end here, and enjoy your wargaming.